What's up, YouTube? So this is going to be an MVP, not prediction, just like who's in the lead for the MVP race kind of right now. And I'm just going to throw out a bunch of names because, I mean, it's early in the season and a bunch of players are playing really, really, really well. Like, I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever seen this many 40-point games in like the first month or so to start the season. Like, it's wild. It's so wild. I'm wondering because like I've seen them call some wild stuff as far as or some weird stuff as far as like carries and travels that they haven't been calling typically, but people are scoring more and more, and I'm not quite sure what that is. I want to look deeper into it, but it's going to take me, at least another 2 weeks to do that. So this is going to be right now, and I want to talk about first off Giannis. Giannis is kind of in the lead, not because it's his like best season or anything, just because his team is really effing good. They're 10-2 right now, which is the number one record I think overall. I think the Jazz are 10. The Jazz are 10-4, so they have the best overall record win-loss ratio at 83%, and it's not even close. Giannis is obviously a big part of that. They're still missing one of their better players in Chris Middleton. So, or actually, yeah. But, I mean, yeah, it's Giannis. I don't think I need to explain why he's up here. The next two people, I think, are also kind of in that same conversation. Luka and Tatum. Both have been playing absolutely out of their minds. The Celtics are 10-3, so really not that far behind. But their overall team is, I think, much better than the Bucks. However, Tatum's been a big part of that, and I think this has been his best year by far so far. And I think that deserves MVP consideration. And it's not just because I picked him prior to the season as a candidate, but I think he's genuinely playing well. So those, I think, are the clear-cut top three. As far as the next five-ish people go, I think there's a lot of people that actually you can throw in there. I think there is Donovan Mitchell. Yes, I'm aware. I don't think he is number 4 just because his defense is kind of mid, and he's been struggling with that. I think Ja Morant has been absolutely out of his mind. I think Devin Booker has been absolutely out of his mind. And I think Lauri Markkanen has absolutely been playing like maybe not like an MVP, but if his team remains the 1 seed and he's the best player on that team, I think he should get MVP. I do. This team was supposed to be the worst team in basketball by far. The worst team in basketball, and somehow they're at the top of the league. I don't know if it'll continue, but as of right now, he definitely deserves a mention, and in my opinion, is probably top 5. Now, the two names that I haven't mentioned are Jokic and, well, I'll say 3 names: Jokic, Curry, and KD. So Jokic's team record is obviously better than the Nets and the Warriors right now, but Jokic, I think everybody kind of expected the team to be a little bit better. If they're currently 8-4, they've lost to some, not any teams that they're supposed to lose to, but they did lose to the Lakers. They did lose to the Trailblazers, which isn't like, they lost to the Jazz, but I guess the Jazz are good. So, it doesn't really look great. Obviously, they're still incorporating a lot of players who have been out with injuries. So it's going to take some time, but as of this moment, I don't think Jokic is in the conversation. And similar kind of thing for KD and Steph. I think both have been playing MVP level basketball. I think Steph's been playing better than KD. I think Steph's probably played, barring Luka, because Luka's been so good. Although he's had some Luka stinkers, which are still like triple doubles, but I think Steph is playing the best basketball in the league right now. And it's not close. He is 20th in usage rate amongst the league. If you remove the players who have only played, a couple of games, like LaMelo Ball is higher than him in usage rating, but he's only played 1 game so far. So I'm not going to count that. He's 11th, but he's 2nd in scoring, and he's got like a 67% true shooting percentage, something absolutely bonkers like that. And like Steph is otherworldly right now, and the team, the bench specifically, is so bad. I'm not going to get too much in the Warriors because I talk about them all the time here, but yeah. Other than that, I think that's pretty much the MVP list as I see it. I think Dame would be on the list if he had not been injured for a couple weeks already. I guess I would say that if I had to put two people or three people to that I think will fall out of the MVP conversation, I think it's going to be Lauri Markkanen, right? Probably the Jazz probably aren't going to keep this up for the whole season. I would say that I think Donovan Mitchell. I think the Cavaliers had a hot start. I think their defense is probably the best in the league, but they're having difficulty executing offense down the stretch, and that's really what makes MVPs. So I think Donovan Mitchell is going to fall out purely because of that reason. Against good defensive teams, well, that's less his fault and more because Darius Garland's been struggling, but Darius Garland's been struggling since he's come back, which it's a whole thing. The Cavaliers, I think, might be contenders, but I don't think Donovan Mitchell will remain in the MVP conversation. I think they'll end up being like a 4 seed. And I think people who will, and then one more, I think Devin Booker. I don't think that the Suns are going to continue to be one of the top teams, not because they aren't good, just because I don't know how much I trust Cam Johnson to continue to be as good as he has been. And I don't think I trust Chris Paul, in game 50 of the regular season. I think he's kind of starting to get to that point. But, he's like one of the best passers in the league still. So it's just a matter of whether or not they're going to be able to get that scoring punch from somebody else. I think the people that will probably replace them are, I think, Trae Young. Like, first and foremost, Trae Young. Joel Embiid, who has not played his best basketball so far, but Trae Young, Joel Embiid, and I think the Warriors. The only reason I'm not, and I think Steph. The only reason I'm not putting KD is because I'm pretty out on the Nets at this point. I really am. I really, 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 really am. I will say that they've played better since Kyrie's left and Jack Vaughn's taken over as head coach. I will admit that, but I just don't see this team. I think KD will play fantastic. I think he'll get them into the playoffs. I don't know if that'll be through a plan or through like barely squeaking in, but I don't think that's enough to win MVP or have a realistic MVP case. And I think the Warriors are probably more likely to get their shit together. That being said, the West is definitely better than the East this season, at least so far. The Nets aren't playing well. The Heat aren't playing well. Obviously, the bottom of the league, although the Warriors have had some bad losses to like the Magic and to the but whatever. Those are my MVP picks. Let me hear if you agree or not. Leave a comment about who you think will win the MVP and who you think is leading in the race right now, because those are two different things. The person leading the race right now is Lauri Markkanen.